All right, let's dive into this. We're tackling Christine Michaelis's The Marketing Formula. 6 steps that will make marketing easy. And I gotta say, I'm kind of pumped.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just another one of those fluffy marketing books, you know?
Right.
I actually skimmed through it, and
Yeah.
it's packed with actionable steps, perfect for people like us who, well, like to actually do the marketing, not just read about it.
Totally. It's so refreshing to see a book that cuts through the theory and gets straight to the point. And that whole emphasis on building a powerful marketing mindset. Genius. It's not just about tactics, it's about getting your head in the game first.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
before you even think about building the marketing machine, you got to make sure you got a solid blueprint,
Yeah,
right? And the fuel to power it.
absolutely.
Speaking of fuel, one thing that really stood out to me was how Michaelis ties your personal values to your brand. Like, she argues that even if professionalism is crucial for your business, it might not be something you personally value, you know? And it got me thinking, is there a disconnect between who I am and what my business stands for? So, for our listener, how can they actually apply this whole values exercise thing?
Well, she actually gives you a step-by-step process for figuring out and then prioritizing your top business values. Think of it like a sorting hat, but for your business.
Okay, I like.
It's not about right or wrong. It's more about having a framework, something to guide your decisions and keep your marketing in line with what you actually believe in.
So it's not about finding one perfect value. It's more about having those guiding principles, like
Yeah,
an internal compass for all your marketing efforts.
exactly.
Makes sense.
And you know that 80-20 rule everyone's always talking about?
Yeah.
How 20% of what you do gets you 80% of the results? Well, Michaelis takes that idea and shows you how to actually apply it to your business.
Okay, now we're talking. Who doesn't want to find those high impact actions, those marketing gold nuggets? How do we actually uncover those?
It starts with really focused market research, both online and offline. You got to become a detective of your target audience, figure out what they need, what they crave.
Hmm.
She even suggests creating something called a competitor grid.
A competitor grid.
Yeah.
I'll admit that sounds kind of intimidating. Can you break that down for our listener? Like, pretend we're back in school. What's the crash course version?
Okay, think of it like a battle plan. But instead of troops, you're mapping out your competition.
Okay.
So you've got this chart, right? List your business and then your top competitors. Then for each one, you analyze. What are they selling? How much do they charge? How are they getting the word out? What makes them stand out?
So it's like holding up a mirror to your own business. You see your strengths, your weaknesses, all in relation to everyone else in the market.
Exactly. And once you've got that clear picture, you can zero in on what makes you unique, those unique selling propositions.
Right.
And that's key for crafting a brand story that truly resonates.
And speaking of brand stories, I love how Michaelis emphasizes that human element. It's not just
Mhm.
about logos and slogans. It's about connecting with people on a deeper level. She even uses an example from her own coaching business, talking about how she created this chain of products. What does that even look like, and how does it tie into telling a compelling brand story?
Imagine it like building a staircase for your customer.
Mm.
Each step is a different level of commitment, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You might start with some freebies like blog posts, checklists, that kind of thing.
Right.
Then maybe offer a low-cost ebook or a short course.
Mm-hmm.
And as they climb this product ladder, you start introducing them to your premium stuff like group programs or one-on-one coaching.
So it's about meeting them where they're at, guiding them towards a solution that fits their budget and their needs,
Exactly.
all while weaving in your brand story and showing off your expertise.
Exactly. And to help you uncover your unique story, Michaelis gives you all these thought-provoking questions.
Oh, interesting.
She really wants you to dig deep into your why. Like, why do you do what you do? What makes you different? What impact do you want to make?
Those are good questions to think about, for sure. But even once you've got that story figured out, you still have to share it with the world, right? And that's where the marketing plan comes in, which honestly can feel kind of daunting.
Tell me about it. So many entrepreneurs I know, they just freeze up at the thought of creating a whole marketing plan.
Right.
But Michaelis breaks it down into manageable steps. It's like having a friend guiding you through the whole thing.
Yeah, she's not pretending it's going to be easy. Like, marketing doesn't take effort, but she makes it clear it doesn't have to be this big, scary monster either.
Exactly.
And I especially love how she deals with time management because, let's be real, that's a struggle for so many of us.
Ugh, the worst, especially when you're juggling a million things at once.
Right.
But Michaelis gets it. She knows we don't have unlimited time. So she says, find those hours where you're most productive and structure your day around that.
instead of trying to force yourself into a box that just doesn't fit, you know?
Exactly. Work with your natural rhythm. That's when you'll get the most done. And it's not just about planning either. She also dives into networking, gives you practical tips for events,
Okay.
how to craft your elevator pitch, even how to use your body language.
Oh, wow.
And then there's this whole thing about tailored communication to really build rapport.
Okay, now tailored communication, that sounds interesting. What's that all about? Give us the rundown.
So imagine you're having a conversation, right? And it's like you're speaking a language that the other person just gets.
Like you're on the same wavelength.
Yes. Their whole face lights up because you're speaking directly to them.
It's like you found that perfect frequency and your message is coming through loud and clear.
Exactly. And it all comes down to understanding these things called preferred communication systems.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Break that down for me.
So some people, they're very visual, right? They love imagery, descriptive language. Others are more auditory. They connect with tone of voice, rhythm, how the words sound.
Oh, interesting.
And then you've got your kinesthetic learners. They need to feel the message, connect with it through their senses.
So it's about figuring out what speaks to your audience, how they best process information, and then adjusting your language accordingly. It's amazing to think that even small tweaks can make such a difference.
Oh, absolutely. Like if you're talking to a visual person, instead of just saying, our product is innovative, you could say, imagine a world where and then you paint this vivid picture of their life with your product.
You're speaking their language not just in terms of the actual words, but in a way that resonates with how they're wired.
Exactly. It's about making that connection, so they feel like this person gets me.
It's like moving away from that generic one-size-fits-all marketing and embracing the power of personalization.
100%.
And speaking of personalization, let's talk about crafting the perfect elevator pitch, because that can feel so intimidating, but it's such a crucial skill for entrepreneurs.
Tell me about it. That moment when you've got someone's attention for like 60 seconds tops. You got to make it count.
And Michaelis talks about treating it as more than just a sales pitch, right?
Right.
It's about conveying your passion, your expertise in a way that really hooks them. So what makes a winning elevator pitch?
She's got this great framework. Start by figuring out what your ideal client struggles with. What are their pain points?
Right.
Then lay out your solution in a way that directly addresses those problems. And get specific. Give them a real-life example of how you helped someone overcome a similar challenge.
So you're proving you can deliver, but without getting too bogged down in the detail.
Exactly. Make it relatable to their world. And don't forget a call to action.
Oh, right.
What do you want them to do after they hear your pitch? Schedule a call. Visit your website. Make it crystal clear.
Give them that final scene in the movie, that cliffhanger that leaves them wanting more.
Yes, exactly that. You want them hooked, ready to be a part of your story, not just watching from the sidelines.
Love it. Now, Michaelis also mentions some alternatives to the traditional elevator pitch, like the one-word pitch and the Pixar pitch. What are those all about?
It's about finding what feels genuine to you, to your business. Because when you're excited about what you're saying, that energy, it's contagious.
I like that.
The one-word pitch is just what it sounds like, one word that captures your whole business. And the Pixar pitch uses storytelling elements to really tug at the heartstrings,
So creative. It's a good reminder that marketing doesn't have to be boring. It can be fun. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Christine Mackay's The Marketing Formula, what's one thing you hope our listeners take away and actually use?
If I had to pick just one, it's understanding your ideal client. Sounds simple, but it's huge.
It's like having a superpower.
Right. You know exactly who you're talking to, what they dream about, what keeps them up at night.
It's not just about demographics anymore.
No, it's about their values, their aspirations, those deep-seated desires. And when you tap into that, it changes everything.
Your whole marketing strategy becomes so much more targeted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because now you're speaking directly to their heart, their soul.
It's about building a connection that goes beyond just selling a product.
Exactly. It's about building a relationship, turning that ideal client into your biggest fan.
Now that's the dream. So for our listener who's ready to get started right now, where do they begin?
Grab a notebook, find a quiet corner, and just sit with the idea of your perfect client. Go back to those questions Michaelis asks in her book. Really dig deep.
Paint that picture.
Yes. What are their dreams? What are their biggest challenges? The clearer that picture is in your mind, the more effective your marketing will be.
Because it's all about getting laser focused, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there.
Exactly. We want to make every step count.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the marketing formula We hope you've gained some valuable insights to apply to your own businesses. Remember, marketing doesn't have to be overwhelming. By focusing on the fundamentals, taking those actionable steps, you can craft a marketing strategy that speaks directly to your ideal client, can get you real results. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep that entrepreneurial fire burning bright.